Stop chasing sharpness. What if the main thing holding back your photography isn't your camera and it isn't your lenses or your editing software, but a fundamental lie you've been conditioned to believe? Why are veteran artists telling us to stop trying to make every photo clinically sharp? Why is one of YouTube's biggest landscape creators walking away from his custom campervan setup? And is your full frame camera actually gathering as much light as you think it is? Well, welcome back to where I review what is being discussed across YouTube photography channels. I've spent the entire week going through the noise on YouTube photography, filtering out the clickbait, and putting together the conversations that actually matter to our craft. Today, we are opening with a deep, honest reality check on the art of photography itself, diving into some mind-bending tech hacks and unpacking a major wake-up call for landscape photographers. I'm also excited to share a lesser-known YouTuber who, in my mind, is at the pinnacle of photographic art, a true fine art master. We are also going to break down and bust up some gear myths, some of which honestly came as a surprise to me, so do hold on for that. If you want to know what actually mattered on photography across YouTube this week and who you should watch next, well, let's get into it. Let's start with what I think was the single most stunning and reflective video uploaded recently. Fine art photographer Martin Osner dropped a video titled "The Expensive Lie Every Photographer Believes." And honestly, if you watch only one video from this roundup, make it this one. As he has a smaller presence on YouTube, there is a good chance he is new to you, and therefore, this honesty is my gift to you this week. Martin tackles a trap that almost every single one of us falls into: the belief that clinical sharpness, corner-to-corner perfection, and high-resolution gear are what make a photograph great. He argues that we've become obsessed with technical specs at the expense of emotion, mood, and visual intent. Sharpness has a voice, yes, but as Martin points out, so does blur. So does atmosphere. And when you demand that every single frame be clinically tack sharp, you strip away the soul of the image. This hits right at the heart of why so many photographers plateau. We buy a sharper lens thinking it'll fix a boring composition. We upgrade our sensor thinking it will give us artistic clarity. But Martin forces us to ask uncomfortable questions, such as, are you hiding behind technical perfection because you don't know what you actually want to say? And Martin isn't the only one calling for self-reflection this week. Over on Tatiana Hopper's channel, she released "Stop Fixing Your Photos, Do This Instead." Tatiana takes direct aim at our habit of relying on post-processing to rescue images that were fundamentally flawed when we press the shutter. She argues that if a photo lacks visual hierarchy or emotional weight in the field, no amount of Lightroom sliders or local adjustments can magically inject life into it. To complete this reflection, Sean Tucker uploaded "The Secret to Choosing Your Best Photos." Sean focuses on the painful, necessary discipline of ruthless culling. He demonstrates that becoming a better artist isn't about capturing more images or editing them longer. It's about developing the internal honesty to throw away your mediocre work, even when it was technically sharp. So what do we do with this? Well, here's the take. We're living in an era where technical perfection has been completely commoditized. Any modern camera can shoot a sharp image. What cannot be commoditized is your eye, your mood, and your willingness to leave the room for imperfection. Stop pixel peeping at 200% zoom. Go watch Martin Osner's video and reflect on what you actually care about capturing, and let go of that clinical trap. Now, while Martin and Tatiana are calling for visual restraint, the technology world is moving at breakneck speed in the exact opposite direction. On the utility side, Unmesh Dinda over at Piximperfect dropped a wild tutorial titled "No Credits, Infinite Resolution, I Hacked Photoshop's GenFill." I'm going to say this next bit slowly as it is a bit of a mouthful. Unmesh demonstrates a clever workaround using multi-tile rendering to bypass Adobe's credit caps and generate generative fill assets at insane multi-gigapixel resolutions. If you do commercial editing or digital compositing, it's an incredible piece of technical engineering. But it presents a fascinating contrast to the broader conversation this week. While tech creators push AI limits, fine art photographers like Martin are actively running in the opposite direction, towards physical, unhackable media. Street photographer Alan Schaller released a video titled "Photographers Get Just 5%, So I Started a Publishing Company." Alan breaks down the brutal financial reality of traditional publishing, showing why traditional photo book deals leave artists with pocket change while taking away creative control. His response? Well, he started his own press to retain 95% of his proceeds and build permanent physical works. This aligns directly with Ted Forbes at The Art of Photography, who uploaded, "Don't just post photos, build something." Ted warns creators that posting individual JPEGs to social media algorithms is a treadmill to nowhere. If you want longevity, you need to build sovereign assets, zines, archival prints, and physical books that exist entirely outside the algorithm. And here's why this contrast matters. Generative AI tools like Unmesh's Hack are great utility shortcuts for commercial work, but they don't build long-term artistic value, which is okay if commercial is your business. Look at Martin Osner above, who had a whole career as a commercial photographer before turning his attention to real fine art photography. As Alan Schaller and Ted Forbes prove, true long-term value comes from physical output and real-world ownership. Use tech for speed, but build physical projects for legacy. Let's pivot to hardware, because this week gave us a masterclass in clearing up photography myths. If you've ever contemplated spending thousands of dollars upgrading to a full-frame system because you believed it gathers more light, you need to stop and watch Simon Detremont's latest video, The Truth About Light Gathering Capacity of Full-Frame Sensors. I'm thrilled to be giving Simon a shout out, as I'm a long-term subscriber of his channel. Simon breaks down sensor physics with crystal clarity. He proves that at the same f-stop and shutter speed, a full-frame sensor does not gather more light per unit area than a crop sensor. He breaks down equivalence, exposure density, and signal-to-noise ratios, explaining exactly where full frame actually holds an advantage and where camera marketing has misled us for a decade. Meanwhile, in the hybrid cinema world, Duna Did It released, "This isn't the FX3 Mark II that we asked for, it's better." Duna digs into how Sony cinema features are bleeding into mid-tier hybrid bodies, giving solo creators tools that previously required massive production crews. And why is this important? Because misunderstanding sensor physics costs you real money. Simon proves that switching formats won't magically make your exposure brighter, and Duna shows that modern hybrid gear is already far ahead of what most of us actually need. Focus on understanding exposure mechanics rather than throwing money at sensor sizes. And beautifully, this ties in with Martin Osner's measure at the top of this video. Finally, let's step outdoors for our dedicated landscape section, because the outdoor photography community got a healthy dose of reality this week. In one of the most refreshingly honest videos on YouTube, Thomas Heaton uploaded, "I don't like my van build anymore." For years, the custom camper van has been the undisputed status symbol of YouTube landscape photographers. But Thomas openly admits that the weight, constant maintenance, and operational friction of his van build actually destroyed his motivation to go out and shoot. It became a mobile distraction rather than a tool for his art. He's stripping back his setup to focus purely on the photography. At the same time, PhotoTripper posted, "Landscape photography's worst enemy isn't the weather. They prove that bad light and dull weather aren't what ruin outdoor photos. It's weak visual structure, lack of depth, and flat foregrounds." And rounding out the workflow, Mark Denny released Pro versus Beginner, the same raw photo, taking a single raw landscape file and editing it from two completely different skill levels. He demonstrates that pro editing isn't about aggressive masking or hypersaturation, but about subtle light guidance and balance. From my own experience, I couldn't agree more. If you shoot landscapes, take a breath. You don't need a custom camper van like Thomas realized. You don't need epic golden hour weather like PhotoTripper proved. And you don't need complex editing software like Mark Denny showed. Simplify your logistics. Look for clean visual hierarchy and focus on being present in the moment. To wrap things up, here is your curated watch list for the weekend. Number 1. For creative reflection, Martin Osner's The Expensive Lie Every Photographer Believes is an extraordinary look at breaking free from the clinical sharpness trap. I can't recommend it enough. Number 2. For visual intent, Tatiana Hopper's Stop Fixing Your Photos is the ultimate guide to getting it right in camera. And number 3, for tech mechanics, Simon Detremont's The Truth About Full-Frame Sensors is the definitive physics breakdown every photographer needs to watch. And number 4, for outdoor photographers, Thomas Heaton's I Don't Like My Van Build Anymore is an honest, grounded check on simplifying your gear. Stop chasing clinical sharpness, simplify your setup, and focus on making work that matters to you. And let me ask you, which of these conversations hit home for you? Are you feeling gear burnout or reflecting on your visual style? Drop a comment below. Hit subscribe if this sort of weekly review on YouTube signals is of use. And check out all the creators I have mentioned, all of which are linked in the description below. Thanks for watching and keep shooting.